Good morning, Kahal Kadosh, everybody. Today, second day of Hanukkah, the 26th day of Chodesh Kislev, the 30th of November 2021. Today's class graciously sponsored by Ivor and Robin Braca, honoring the memory of the dear friends, Mr. Edmond Ben Esther Safra and his brother Yosef Ben Esther Safra, Alehem Shalom. Additionally, today's class graciously sponsored by Gil Cohen and family, the Ilun Nishmat, his beloved father, Meir Ben Frida, Alav Shalom. Additionally, today's class graciously sponsored by Michelle Policar and family, the Ilun Nishmat, his uncle, Moshe Ben Allegra, Alav Shalom. Additionally, today's class dedicated by the Krayam family for the Ilun Nishmat, the beloved father and husband, Mr. Saul Kraim, Alav Shalom, Shaul Ben Bahie, Alav Shalom, and for the Refuah Shelema of our dear member, Yeshaya Ben Laura, Mr. Charlie Saka, that will go to a serious test today. So, Be'ezrat Hashem, we hope and pray that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives him Refuah Shelema among the Cholim of all of Am Israel. Amen. Now, as we mentioned yesterday, today's class, we are going to discuss one of the most important highlights of the celebration of Hanukkah, which is basically the lighting the Hanukkah, which obviously we are not going to be going to the halachic aspect of it, but actually we're going to be discussing the message or the power of the Menorah. We know the Menorah, it was one of the key holiest utensils during the time of the Bet HaMikdash. And Aharon HaKohen was honored with the lighting of the Menorah. And lighting the Menorah was something that took place in the Bet HaMikdash every day. Consequently, even after the destruction of the Bet HaMikdash, every time Hanukkah comes, we light the Menorah. And lighting the Menorah in Hanukkah, to a certain extent, is like lighting the Menorah in the Bet HaMikdash. That's what's written in the Safra Synagogue. But today we are going to be discussing the shape of the Menorah, which is broken down by chapter 67 of Tehilim. Any Sephardic Siddur that you use right before Baruch She'amar, you are going to have this design of the Menorah, in which separates the words, the lines, semicircle, by flower-shaped petals, by almond-shaped, different cups, different flames turning to the left, turning to the right, each one of these poles having a different message. So I'm showing you the design now. So this way, now I can move on to open up this design and explain what exactly this means. Now, there are many different sources of when was the first time that this shape of the Menorah, Ilam Naseyah, came actually to the face of the world. So I'm going to start quoting very quickly from the Siddur of the Hida. The Hida, Hacham Chaim Yosef David Azulai, a great Sephardic giant, and I took the liberty of writing in my Siddur. I don't usually write in my prayer book unless I have to. And today was one of those days. I needed to dissect the opening statement of the Hida, but I'm going to read you quickly what are the benefits of reciting the Lamnaseyah in the shape of the Menorah. In Sephardic synagogues, Hasidic synagogues for sure, you'll see even in front of the Hazan, in the Amud, as they call it in the Ashkenazic synagogues, that they have the Lamnaseyah in the shape of the Menorah. For the Sephardic people, it's no-brainer. Any Sephardic Siddur you open up before Baruch She'amar, you are going to see this design. Some more elegant, some simpler, some more letters, less letters. The message is the same. So this is quoting from the Siddur of the Hida HaKadosh. And the sources, he says that this was first seen in the Siddur Sha'arei Rahamim which was created, the messages and the commentaries by Rabbeinu Chaim HaKohen, which was the most known student of Rabbeinu Chaim Vital, which was the student of Rabbeinu Hari, and Rabbeinu Chaim Vital got it from Rabbeinu Ha'ari. If I open up another book, which you know me, one of the things I go, when I go to Brooklyn, I go on a shopping spree. I don't buy suits, I don't buy ties, I buy books. And because of, I'm running out of book space, so my wife tells me, Yosef, take it easy. But thank God I go by myself. Anyway, so for example here, and this is a different, for example, example of how this shape of the menorah is. Very similar to the Kol Yaakov, Sidur, Magen Abraham, Orot. All of them in the Sephardic heritage have the same, more or less. But it says as follows. There are at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe 7 to 10 benefits, plus 7 benefits. So altogether a package of 17 benefits, give or take. Don't take numbers, just listen, and Be'ezat Hashem will cover this today. So it says as follows. There are conditions to recite the shape of the menorah in the Lamnaseach. So it says, number 1, Kol mi she'omer, a person who says this chapter of Tehilim before sunrise, before nets, lo yikre lo shum gezerah ra'ah, no negative decree will fall upon the person. Number 1. Number 2, yahashub lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is considered in front of the Almighty, like if a person lit the candles of the menorah in the Beit HaMikdash. Number 3, muftah lo shehu ben olam haba, guaranteed location in the world to come. Ve'amru hachamim, our rabbis on the Kabbalah says, Kol mi she'ireh ve'yikra zeh hamizmor, a person who looks at it and reads it every day in the shape of the menorah, imtza hem b'sechel tov, will find grace and good wisdom in the eyes of God and in the eyes of the Almighty. Now, it gets further. And what happens if this shape of the menorah design is engraved on the curtain of the parochet of the synagogue? So what do? Yagen be'ad kahal mipnei kol gezerah ra'ah. This becomes a shield of protection against any decree that may exist against the kahal. You have seen it in some places. One of the synagogues that have it is Rabbi Eli Mansur's synagogue. I saw it myself there. I think that was the first or second time beside in Israel that I saw that a synagogue in the United States has a special parochet which is exactly with the shape of the menorah. Additionally, it says that the Hidah writes that during or after Birkat Kohanim, during the 7 weeks of the Omer, also brings great beracha to the person. So it says as follows. In this chapter of Tehilim, there are 7 concepts which are connected to the 7 poles of the menorah. As we know, and we have said this in the past, the menorah has 7 branches. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it says as follows. What does these 7 branches actually represent? So it says, number 1, these are 7 blessings that a person can become a recipient of them. Number 1, Hanina. What's the meaning of Hanina? Hanina is from grace. Hashem is gracious with the person. Number 2, Beracha. You get blessing in your life. So far, so good. Number 3, godly light. Number 4, Yeshua, salvation. Not bad. Number 5, Hoda'ah, chances to be grateful to God and recognizing the miracles and good things that go through your life. Number 6, simcha, happiness. How much happiness cost? Can you buy happiness? No. You cannot buy happiness. If you go to Whole Foods and tell them, can you have 500 milligrams of happiness? They don't have it.
They will send you to the smoke shop.
Right. Okay. Number 7, rinena, singing to the Almighty. So it says, what is so special about these 7 benefits? Shekol elu inyanim, that these 7 blessings that we just described, atidim lihiyot leIsrael. When Mashiach comes, everyone will have all of the above. It's an unbelievable gift. Unbelievable gift. וכן הקורא אותם בכוונה זו יזכה עליהם. It says, but you don't have to wait till Mashiach comes. If a person takes a few moments in the day, especially in our prayers, and you read it, and you have the kavanah, protection and blessing comes the person's way. That's why many people have this beautiful tradition that before they go on a trip, they read this chapter 7 times. But where all this concept of protection came from? So the Hidayah explains, Hamizmor Hazeh, this chapter of Tehilim, David HaMelech Alav Shalom used to carry it, Mesuyar B'Mageno. It says this was the design that was in the Magen David, Besurat HaMenorah. He had the Magen David, the shield of David, and he had this design whenever he was going to war, Be'yanosea Hoyevav Benoflim Lefanav. And this was a good omen for victory. And our rabbi says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu showed David HaMelech this particular chapter of Tehilim in the shape of Menorah, similar to the way that it was shown to Moshe Rabbeinu Alav Shalom, like the pasuk says, "Kamar'e asher her'a Hashem et Moshe, ken asa et haMenorah." In the image that God showed Moshe Rabbeinu, so the Menorah was built. This was in part the introduction of the Hidayah on this topic of the Menorah, but it goes further. Okay, so let's see what I want to show you now. I'm trying to get the simpler design, so this way we're able to understand it better. Okay, I'm going to go for the major leagues, I think, because we are in the major leagues of the Safra Synagogue, correct, with such a holy and beautiful audience, on iTorah.com, obviously, so I'm going to go straight to the point. I will do a lot of talking. I'm not expecting any of us, including myself, to remember everything tomorrow morning when it comes to the Mnaseah in the shape of the Menorah, but at least in one time, we are able to have a minimum level of understanding what are the secret Kabbalistic messages hidden in this chapter of Tehilim, especially in the shape of the Menorah. I think that we are heading in the right direction. So, I'm going to show the Kahal one more time the entire page that we'll discuss now. We'll go through all these tiny letters. What do they mean? What's the meaning and what's the purpose and where these letters are coming from? So first, if you pay attention to the upper layer of the candles, we see that there is a center pole, and the center pole, the flame, is in the middle, and the poles on the left and the poles on the right, they are tilting into the center pole. Now, so it says the following. The beginning of the Pesukim. So, I need like a PowerPoint presentation, I think, for this. But okay. So it says as follows. If you look in the upper chart of the Menorah begins by saying Lamnaseya Benginot Mizmor Shir. That is the first paragraph, the first sentence of the verse. Now, the next one, it says as follows. If you look at the first letter of the first three poles, is Elohim, letter Aleph, Lada'at, Lamed, Yoducha, Yod, Aleph, Lamed, Yod, which is Keli, my God. As David HaMelech says, Esther HaMalka in the chapter 22 of Tehilim, Keli, Keli, Lama Azatani, my God, my God. So if you go at the bottom, the letters, the final letters, is Samech or Mechila, Mem, Chaf, He. That's numerical value 65. What is the numerical value 65? Hashem's name, Ammonai. So we already have the first three letters make up Hashem's name. The final three letters of the first three verses make up Hashem's name. Then you have the next side of the Menorah. Yivarechenu eres Yoducha. What do you have? Yod, Aleph, Yod. How much is Yod, Aleph, Yod? Yod is 10. Aleph, 111. Plus Yod, 10. That's numerical value 21. What's numerical value 21? Hashem's name, Eheye. So you have again, Hashem's name. First half top, first half bottom, second half top, and now we go to the third one. So it says the last three words of the second set of sentences is Kulam, Mem, Elokenu, Vav, Aretz, Tzadik. Tzadik and Vav, 96, plus Mem, how much is 96 plus 40? 136. Chazak. So what is 136? Gematria, Kol. Kol in Hebrew with Kof means what? Voice. Voice. Mammon, money, also numerical value 136. Voice, Kol, stands for tefillah, prayer. Mammon means tzedakah, and tzom, although it means fasting, numerical value of that word is 136, which is the concept of teshuvah. So we see that these three words, tzom, kol, mammon, all of them equal exactly the same. And that's why if you look, let's say, at this design of the Menorah, what does it give you? Tzom, kol, mammon. Is at the same numerical value, each word equal, 136, which is a combination of Tzadik, Vav, Mem, the final three letters of the final three sentences. Again, I know that I'm making you dizzy, but it's not my intention, but it's the outcome. Are you able to follow it in the Siddur? You see it there?
I'm looking at it, but I don't understand.
Okay, you do. It's here. It's answering
I
you.
saw it, yeah.
But how do you get to this? So he says, if you take the last letter of the last three verses, 90, 96, 136. So these three letters are the hidden code of these three words. That's how you connect with Hashem, with tefillah, with teshuvah, with tzedakah. It goes further. Center pole. Let's go to the center pole. Okay? First letter of the center is mehu, the concept of happiness. This refers to the day of Shabbat. I will discuss that in a moment. The last letter of the center pole is he. So what do you have? Yod, ke. Yod, no, you have only Yod, ke. Two letters. Now, if I take these 7 branches and I put the letters together. I have Yod Aleph Yod, okay, Yod Aleph Yod, Yod Yod Lamed Aleph. So I have Aleph Lamed, Yod Yod Yod, Aleph Yod. How much is that? Let's do the numbers. 31, 41, 51, 61, 71, 72. Which is 72? Hashem's holy name, Shema. How do I get to this 72? Too deep for today. We'll save it for some other time.
Good for any day, not only today.
No, but today, because I'm sharing a lot of information. I said it yesterday. Yeah.
All numbers is connected to Hashem names or no?
No.
Any numbers?
No, specific numbers, right? But if you want me to find it, there is always things that we don't know and things that are written that perhaps there is something. But there are certain key numbers that we know that are attributed to Hashem's name. For example, Shema, Ban, Sag, Ab, 45, 53, 60, 52, 63, 72, 86,
Start from
91.
9?
No, it starts from 1.
1.
1, yes. So after that, so it says as follows. Every branch of the Menorah, remember we discussed this yesterday, the topic of Sefirot. Hashem's revelation in the physical world through emotional attributes. Hesed, Devora, Tiferet, Nesach, Hod, Yesod, Malchut. So it says that 6 of them are connected to the 6 branches of the Menorah, which each one of these branches of the Menorah is connected to a different weekday. So it says, the one on the right, it says they are the days Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Shabbat is the center pole, and then you have Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And it says, why all the flames in the Bet HaMikdash? By miracle. If you try to do this at home, you can never have, it will never happen. That all the flames will be tilting towards the center, it doesn't happen. Okay? But in the Bet HaMikdash, it did happen. It says why? It says the Hidar Kadosh, because this candle, which is the center pole, represented the Shabbat, he was the one who gave the Shefa, the abundance, to every single day of the week, which is Mekor HaBeracha Shabbat. It says the foundation of Beracha to the person is the day of Shabbat. Additional benefit of reciting the Menorah in the shape of the Menorah, or the Naseach B'Minot Mizmor Shir, it says as follows, that a person becomes a recipient to receive Hashem's blessing for Beracha and Aslaha. Beautiful. Who doesn't want Beracha and Aslaha? You know somebody who doesn't want to be successful, he doesn't want to have blessing, of course. And then we also get extra protection from the Yetzer Hara and from Ayin Hara, and we also bring Kedusha to our families and the expedition or the expediting of Mashiach's arrival. And additionally, it says that reciting this particular chapter of Tehilim in the shape of the Menorah, it activates additional compassion from Hashem to the person, to the family, and Am Yisrael, and a person gets protection from enemies and other matters that may affect the person's life, and also from fears and any kind of negative decrease, which this is connected to the shape of the Menorah, in which the honoree to light the Menorah in the Bet HaMikdash was Aharon HaKohen. And what prayer is connected to Aharon HaKohen? Birkat Kohanim. Yevarechecha Hashem ve'ishmerecha. The very famous one that we say on a regular basis. Again, I'm giving you the expedited version because I got a lot to say today and I try not to go into overtime. But it says as follows. It says that a person who makes the effort of doing this prayer once a day even, according to the Sephardic tradition, you can do this prayer twice a day. Because we have it in Shaharit before Baruch She'amal, and then we have it in Mincha before Aleinu Leshabeach.
Yeah.
Not all Ashkenazic Sidurim, I believe, have the Lamnaseach as part of the daily prayer. Okay? In Mincha, for sure not. But Sephardim, for sure, it's in the Sephardic Sidur. So it says as follows. So it says that saying this prayer, מתחזק האמונה באדם. It says it's like a vitamin, so to speak, to reinforce the emunah on the person. And it says that this is something that will gradually become activated in the life of the person, because at the end of the day, there is nothing, it says here, that can exist in the world without God's intervention. Meaning to say, if there is something of an essence that is existing in the world, it's because it has a godly type of energy. Without that, nothing can exist in the world. You know, I'm not a scientist, etc., but they have a different mindset when it comes to this matter. But it says from a basic emunah perspective, being in the world, it automatically carries a concept of Hashem's presence, etc. So it says that the Pasuk writes, Eres natena yevulaha. The land gave its fruits, its yield. It says, how does the land gives the fruits? It says, short answer. The person makes the basic ishtadlut. The person makes the effort. You have a piece of land, you work the land, you irrigate the land, you fertilize the land, you plow the land, you do a lot of different things, and eventually comes. But who gives the shelemut is the essence of Akadosh Baruch Hu. And that's why the Pasuk writes, Ismehu biranenu le'umim. It says, when Mashiach comes, even the Goim, well, le'umim means the nations of the world. You know, there is a Bank Le'umi. That's the Bank of the Nation. That's what it means in English. In South America, it's called Banco Nación, so to speak, right? So that's the meaning of the name of the bank. So actually, the word le'umim is from this chapter of Tehilim. It says that even the nations of the world, they go in that were a distance, that's the proper word, distance from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, will recognize the essence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu upon Mashiach's arrival, etc. And that's why the Pasuk at the end says, Yoducha Amim Elokim, Yoducha Amim Kulam. Will come a time in history that every nation of the world will recognize the essence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and therefore it quotes here and it says that person brings extra protection and godly warmth to the person, Beyesh Shemira La'adam, and there is extra protection in this. So the question is, why this chapter of Tehilim brings extra protection? The answer is as follows. There is a word in this chapter of Tehilim that is repeated 5 times. Let's see if we're able to find it. I found it. The word Elokim. Elokim Yehonenu Vivarechenu. That's 1. Yoducha Amim Elokim, 2. Yoducha Amim Elokim, 3. Yevarechenu Elokim, 4. Yevarechenu Elokim, 5. It says, what name of God is Elokim? 86. Hashem's name connected to judgment. Okay, it's a known fact. There are 5 letters in the Hebrew alphabet that are repeated. Mem, Nun, Sadik, Pe, Chaf Sofrit, Mansafach. These 5 letters, they have a regular writing letter for the beginning of the word or the middle of the word. But if whenever a word finishes with a mem, with a nun, with a sadik, with a pe, and the chaf, you cannot write the way that you write those letters in the beginning of the word. There are 5 shapes known as mansafach. Remember when we went out the other day, a few months ago already, on Hoshana Rabbah, and what did we take? We took the Hoshanot, correct? How many Hoshanot we take in Hoshana Rabbah? 5. Why 5? Because each one of these leaves is connected to one letter of these 5 letters. And Dafka specifically when it comes to judgment, because that's the reason why we do it on the ground. We do it on the ground because what part of the body the Arava represents? The lips of the person. So we are making this physical motion to tell the Malachim in Shamayim, don't activate, don't accuse us in Shamayim, don't speak about us. Like the hearing on the ground is silent, our accusation should also go silent. For that reason, it says that a person who makes the effort to recite this on a regular basis, not only that even judgment will become sweetened to the person, but the Kedusha of this chapter of Tehilim activates holiness in the person that thus causes the erasing of Averot from the person's account. I gave you
Short version.
a short version that I'm able to explain. More than that, it requires to call in the reinforcement, but I think at least we fulfill our commitment yesterday, which are not over yet, Rabotai, so keep eating and keep listening. I'll take advantage for 5 extra minutes, since today we are finishing the second day of Hanukkah, and we're going to begin now tonight, the 3rd night of Hanukkah. So when you're at home, after you say all the extra prayers, try to say this chapter from the Siddur, or tomorrow morning when it comes to Baruch She'amar, or even now, open the Siddur and say it if you were not aware of such a lofty matter. So what are a couple of things that we should pray for tonight when it comes to the 3rd candle of Hanukkah? So it says as follows. Remember, every word connects to 13 attributes of mercy. First night, Kel. Second night, Hanun. 3rd one, Rahum, compassionate. The 3rd one, Hanun. Tonight is the 3rd night. What is Hanun? So it says as follows. The Maharal explains, Hanun is from Lashon Hinam. What's the meaning of the word Hinam? Free. It says the Maharal that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives the person a good lifestyle, matanot Hinam, even when the person eno ra'ui. It says even if the person is not, how do I say this, qualified, that's a proper word, or suitable to receive it, Borei Olam gives it to him. In other words, it's like you see someone that drives a super fancy car, okay? Super fancy car on Shabbat. God forbid. Technically, he should not have it. Why? Because he's driving it on Shabbat. So why does he have it? Why does he have it?
Hashem lets him enjoy it here, but upstairs.
Exactly. Borei Olam, nevertheless, Borei Olam gives the person sometimes extra credit. The way the Gemara writes, Afal pi she'eno hagun ve'eno kedai. Even if the person may not be suitable or qualifying to receive such a gift, nevertheless, out of Hashem's kindness and generosity, since HaKadosh Baruch Hu noten tamid, he says, God constantly gives. gives the person whatever blessing it means, physical, emotional, financial, etc. And Borei Olam also Lashon Hanun. What's the meaning of the word Hanun? The Seforno explains that Hanun means that Hashem is gracious. In other words, Hashem is gracious to the person. Shenoten hen lamitpalelim elav. It says, and how does a person is able to get this graciousness for Hashem? Through the power of prayer. The Nahalat Yankov adds and it says that Hashem doesn't give the person just how much food can you eat in a day. Okay? Now you go home, excuse me. You go home, you open the freezer. What do you see? You see, for example, 2 trays of kibbeh,
Okay.
1 frozen brisket,
Okay.
2 packages of chicken,
All right.
5 pounds of corned beef, frozen.
We'll manage.
I know you can manage, but let me ask you a question. Why you have it in the freezer?
Storage.
And what do you need to storage?
Yeah.
You don't need to go buy every day.
What's wrong if you have to go
Yeah.
buy every day?
Yeah, it's 2 minutes.
What if you cannot afford to have $300 or $500 or $1,000 worth of meat in your freezer?
Yeah. So you go.
Okay? So it says in Nahalat Yankov that Borei Olam doesn't give the person exactly what you're going to do tonight. Oh, you're going to have today 2 hamburgers. So you're only going to have access to 2 hamburgers and no more. It says Nahalat Yankov, Gam mosif lo bemotar ube'arhaba. Borei Olam is generous. He gives extra. He knows that you're not going to eat in one day the brisket, the corned beef, the chicken, and the kibbeh. But nevertheless, God says, you know what? Here, keep it in your freezer. You don't have to go to the supermarket every day. But what happens, God forbid, if a person cannot afford to have $1,000 sitting in the freezer? What do you think? There are no people like that?
Big time.
Plenty, more than you think. So now you open your freezer. What are you supposed to do when you open your freezer?
Thank you.
Be thankful to Akadosh Baruch Hu. You walk into a walk-in closet. Do you need to have 40 shirts?
Yeah.
You don't need to have 40 shirts.
We had only 1 or 2 pair of shoes when we were.
Okay, I know. I remember those days.
You laugh.
Okay, if you're lucky, look what he just said.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, you have 2 pairs of shoes.
Yeah.
You
Okay?
have to be careful. You have to say thank you when you shop also, even before that.
Of course. When I'm okay with that. Before you go shopping, pray that you find easy and you don't spend too much money. Because wasting money is not a mitzvah, it's an avon actually.
Rabbi, how about going to the casino? I see Hasidim.
I see people from all over. I don't see because I don't go. Let's clarify. I know. It's a problem. Again, if the person is one time and he sees and goes, is one thing. Is it a place for a Shomer Shabbat religious person to be in the casino? For sure not.
They're building a kosher hotel in front of the casino.
Yes, I got a prospectus about it, and I said to the person, I don't understand. You're going to open up a minyan,
Yeah.
mikveh, kosher food in front of the casino.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
yeah. How about it?
Big lap.
I don't know, they're making something kosher. I'm not happy with it.
Two hotels they are opening. 2 places. Kosher. Kosher.
In the casino, there's the most prayers, though. Everybody's praying to Hashem.
Yeah.
Praying that they win.
Okay, pray that they win. Okay.
It's just true.
So one more thing, there is something beautiful. It says that the 3rd candle of Hanukkah is connected to Yankov Avinu. And what was the essence of Yankov? Besides Torah learning that we discussed a couple of days ago, it was the concept of Midat HaEmet. Yankov Avinu was honest.
Yeah.
Yankov Avinu always followed the Emet because at the end of the day, Emet, the Gemara writes in tractate Shabbat, Chotamo shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu Emet. It says the rubber stamp of God is the Emet. You want to find godliness? Whenever there is Emet, that's where godliness is found. And the final part is as follows. I didn't pay attention to this until yesterday, because I was preparing this class, and I said, let me confirm something. In the Amidah, I want to confirm it with the Sidur, so I don't say nothing. Okay. Beautiful. In the Beracha of Sim Shalom, towards the end of the Amidah, what do we say? Sim Shalom, Shalom, Tova, Ubracha, Haim, Hen, Bahesed, Tzedakah, Berachamim. 8 words. Every one of these words connects to a different candle of Hanukkah. Yesterday was Tova, the second word. Tonight, the third word is Beracha. So what is Beracha? So it says a person should pray tonight and tomorrow that a person should become a recipient of Hashem's blessings in all matters of life. If it's physical, emotional, financial, and spiritual. And that's why you say, Beracha. Beracha is Lashon Ribui. Abundance, excessively. And Beracha is on the word Berecha. What's the meaning of the word Berecha in Hebrew? A swimming pool. Berecha. Okay? Now, what has to do a swimming pool with Beracha? It says the same concept. Swimming pools, what happens when you jump into the swimming pool? Water splashes all over. That is a sign of abundance. Okay? So it says every time a person is makpid, is meticulous in the Beracha, it activates a shower of abundance in the person's life. Belo ye mugbal, don't be stingy. Don't be excessively meticulous. Eleitosef tamid yoter veyoter ad beli dai. Hashem doesn't say, okay, what do you need today? As I said before, oh, you need today one shirt, one pair of pants, one set of underwear, one pair of shoes. Okay, all the rest of the closet is disappearing. Borei Olam doesn't do that. What does Borei Olam does? Gives the person more than what the person really needs to live. And this is the concept of praying for Beracha, connected to the third night of Hanukkah. Just one more thing. So it says as follows. Many times, if this comes from the Bet Abraham, many times a person prays for financial and materialistic items. And we don't see that Shamayim answer the person. Why not? It says one reason is, many times, maybe Hashem doesn't want to hear this prayer. Why not? Because he knows that if he answers yes to this prayer, maybe the person will be happy that something good did happen, but that good can turn against the person. Like too much money. Okay? Everybody needs money. No one can say, I don't need. No, you need. If you're human, you need. But what happens, Haz v'shalom? Sheshelamo HaMelech, Osher, Shamur Ra, Liba'alav. Many times, having too much money becomes the enemy of the person. Right? Like you mentioned before. The person starts gambling. The person does things or lives in a way which is not proper. But, and this is the Hidush, but if the prayer to the Almighty is it says, God help me to see you in every turn of my life. Guaranteed, the Borei Olam will answer the prayer to reinforce the emunah in the person's life. Why? Because you're not asking, give me money or give me this or give me that. You're asking Hashem, give me a lifeline to connect with you. And when it comes to this level of prayer, says the Ner Abraham, Borei Olam says, I'll take care of you. I'll give it to you. My dear
I
friends,
think Hashem also sees priorities of the person. When the person thinks money is his priority, Hashem sees.
true, but not only that, many times, Isaac, I heard a story with one of the great tzaddikim of 1 or 2 generations ago, that a fellow went to a great hacham and he says, Rabbi, give me a blessing for me to hit the lottery, the jackpot. Right? It says the rabbi, no problem, I give it to you. But I'll tell you the following. If you win the lottery, you will never again be making money throughout your entire life.
Yeah.
So do you want to come in installment or in a lump sum? He says installments. Smart answer. Now, for the lottery, I cannot tell you that is the same answer. You know, they give you options, right? You want lump sum payment or you want installment. If you get lump sum, at least 37 to 40%
Oh,
Those are taxes.
goes to taxes.
it's okay. You still have enough.
Yes. It depends what's the price, you know. But whatever it may be,
It's free money.
just be smart about it and contact your local financial advisor,
And you have some tips for us?
attorney, and the rabbi. When you hit that moment, when you get it to that level, you talk to me.
Why do
You
you
have some
think?
numbers?
Before you eat, no, I can't give the numbers, just make the personal prayer.
Why do 95% of the people lose their money when they win the lotto?
Because they don't know how to manage it. They don't have the values in their mind. The person becomes desperate. He wants to live la vida loca. You know, if any of us, somebody told me the other day, Rabbi, Baruch Hashem, I have what I needed. But if I hit the lottery, the jackpot, he says, you know how much hesed and people I can help? It is true, everybody says it before they win it.
Right.
You know, I don't know what's going to be happen the day after, but if that happens, I'll pay you a visit, Matchaf. I'll manage it for you. Okay, my good friends? We say Tizkera Mitzvot to all the generous sponsors of today's class. May the Neshamot have an Aliyah and the Cholim have a Refuah Shelema. Baruch Adonai La'olam. Amen v'amen. Rabbi Hanani v'Rekha Omer. Ratzah HaKadosh Baruch Hu lezakot et Yisrael lefichach. תקרא להם תורה מצוות שנאמר אדוני חפץ למען צדקו, יגדיל תורה וידיר קדיש